Okay, one more thing we're going to do here before we start copying the tire around is just add a little bit more detail to the tread here. Okay, so let's reselect the tire there, and we'll go back into edge. Let's just grab that center edge there, we'll loop it. Okay, and let's chamfer that. Okay, so let's take this up quite a bit to split that edge into two. Alright, let's maybe do about 5. And with those two edge loops still selected, we'll do another chamfer, and we'll take this one down quite a bit. Alright, we're just going to spread these out a little bit. Maybe about 1.5, 1.6, something like that. Let's maybe just do that a little bit tighter. Just going to undo that for a second and redo the chamfer. Make that a little bit narrower. Okay. So now let's grab an edge on each of these chamfers and we'll ring it. Control-click polygon again, and we're just going to extrude this in to give the middle section a little bit more detail. Alright, let's open up extrude, do local normal, and we'll just take that down to a negative amount again to punch it in. And we'll do maybe -6, -7, something like that. And okay. And then we'll just quickly chamfer down these edges here. So let's grab the 4 edges on top. Do a loop on those and a chamfer. Tighten it up a little bit more. And we'll also maybe just chamfer down the 4 inner edges here. Okay, so grab the 2 on each side and loop those as well. And let's get that slight chamfer. Something like that should be fine. So let's hit OK to that, and that'll be the completed tread. Okay, if you want to, you can maybe add a smooth modifier to get rid of some of this fauceting. It's probably not really going to be noticeable in the final model, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's just reselect all these pieces here. We'll right click and unhide all. And now we'll just start making some copies of the rim here. Okay, so with this selected, let's just maybe do a group on it really quick. Okay, let's call that tire. And we'll just clone it over to the other side of the front here. Okay, so let's go back to the top view. And let's also make sure this is in the right location here. So I'm going to switch the front view back to the back view. Okay, we'll just make sure it's lined up before we start cloning it. Okay, everything looks good. Okay, so back in the top view, we'll just center the pivot point on the group, and we'll just right click the move tool and zero out the x-axis again. Turn off the button there, and we'll just do a mirror as a copy on the x. Okay, that'll put the tire over on the other side. So now we'll just maybe grab the first tire again, and in the left view, we'll just shift drag and copy this to the back tires. Okay, so let's shift drag one over here. And as you can see, the back tires are quite a bit larger. Okay, so choose copy here. We'll zoom in a little bit here, go into see-through, and we'll just move this up and try to line up with what's on the blueprint. Okay, just like that, try to center it. And we're just going to scale the whole thing up here. Alright, so back up to scale, and we'll just take this up until we match the radius. Okay, something like that should be good. And I just want to check in the front view to make sure that the tires are actually level. Okay, so you can see this one's a little bit lower, and that's not going to sit on the ground properly. So let's maybe move this tire up a little bit more. Might need to scale it down slightly here. Let's maybe move it up first. Okay, so with that tire selected, we're just going to slightly push this up until the bottom of the tread lines up with the bottom of the tread for the front tire here. Okay, so these are pretty much even. And we'll just check it out in perspective and make sure it actually fits into the truck here. Okay, let's slightly scale it down here. It's a little bit too large right there, and it's clipping on that corner. Alright, so I'm just going to scale it down slightly here. Just until it clears that corner right there. Okay, we'll also maybe slightly move it to the, or slightly move it back a bit here. Alright, and don't worry if it's not lining up with the blueprints, that's fine. I actually didn't have the tires level in this particular version. Okay, so now that we have that in place, we need to make sure that we can fit dual tires here on the back section. So we're going to need to scale this a little bit thinner. Alright, so let's check it on the top view here. Okay, and we need to stick another one right in this section here between the tire and the bar. Okay, as you can see, that's way too thick. All right, we're also going to move it out a little bit to the outside. Center the pivot point on this. Okay, and I'm just going to pull this out and line it up with the blueprint. Okay, and let's maybe do an ungroup on it. And we'll select the rim as well as the tire tread. Okay, just grab those two. And we don't need to select the lug nuts or the rotor, we just want to do these two at the same time. Okay, so back in the top view, we're just going to give these a scale on the x-axis here to thin it up a little bit more. Alright, so to scale it in, try something like that. Okay, and let's just pull it a little bit more out so it lines up with the lug nuts again. Alright, let's actually reselect the rotor there, and we'll just move this all at once. Okay, and it actually looks like the rotor's pushed into the back there, so we'll deselect that. We'll just move the tread and the rim at the same time here. Okay, so let's pull that out a little bit on the X until we see those lug nuts touch up with the surface again. Alright, just like that. Okay, and then we'll grab the rotor there and just move it a little bit more forward so it lines up. Okay, and now we'll just select all the pieces of this tire here, and we'll make a copy of this in the top view. Alright, so let's shift drag it back. Alright, we're going to park it right next to it, and just make sure that it's on the outside of these back bars here. Okay, we can actually check this out underneath. Okay, so I just want to make sure it's clearing up here, and I'm actually going to push it out a little bit more maybe. Alright, move the outside tire a little bit more out. Okay, so that's good, as long as we have a gap in there. And we'll go back to the top view and just reselect the piece of the first tire. Let's be sure we get that rotor as well. Alright, so let's control click that, and we'll just move it out a little bit more here until we have a slight gap between each tire. Okay, so that should work fine. Let's maybe hide the front tire here, so I'm just going to hide selected on that. And we're going to delete the rotor on this one, we don't need it. So we'll delete that off. Let's grab the rim here and we'll hit Alt Q. Okay, and we're not going to use the same rim on the back, we're actually going to make a simpler, more solid version of this one. Okay, so with that one selected, let's go up and we'll delete the Turbo Smooth for now. Let's go back into Polygon here, back into the left view, and we're just going to select all the polys in the center. Okay, we'll grow that a little bit here. Alright, we just want to make sure we have the just the spokes here selected pretty much, so I'm going to take that up a little bit more. Okay, and with the spokes selected, we're just going to delete those out. And let's maybe get rid of a few more of these pieces here. Let's maybe bring these inner edges, create a polygon selection from those, and we'll just grow this a few more times, and let's just actually delete the whole inside here. Okay, so let's get all those polygons selected. Alright, you might leave a few of the back ones here. Let's go into the back view. Okay, we'll just deselect these ones at the back, holding down Alt. Okay, so pretty much everything up to this edge, and everything up to the front edge here. Okay, and then we're going to delete these out. And we'll go into border, and we're just going to grab the open border on the front and shift drag it in. Okay, we'll bring that back quite a bit. Let's maybe get a little more detail now. I'm just going to take that back out a bit, maybe to about there. And we'll switch from the move tool to the scale tool here, hold down shift and scale up on the triangle here. Alright, just to create a little bit of a ledge there. And then we'll shift drag that back. Okay, we'll go back pretty far, maybe something like that. And because this rim isn't really going to be able to be seen on the truck, I'm going to do this really quickly here. Okay, so let's go back to scale, hold down shift, we'll scale it up a bit. Okay, maybe something like that. And let's maybe move these out a little bit towards the front so we have a bit of a angle detail on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to pull this forward a little bit. And we'll go back to scale and hold down shift again, scale it down a little bit more. And let's push these ones in. Maybe something like that. And scale again. Okay, we'll scale it down something maybe like that, and we can probably bring out the center, similar to what we had on the original rim. Let's maybe do it a little bit farther, and we'll just hold down shift and move these out, extrude that border. Okay, and we'll scale it one more time here, and for now we'll just close it up. Alright, so I'm going to scale that pretty much closed, control click vertex, and weld these verts up into one point. Okay, and we'll go around the back and we'll do a similar thing here. Let's go back to border, we'll grab the back border this time, and let's shift drag that in a bit. Okay, and I don't want to go too far forward, so we'll check it in the side view here. Let's bring it maybe up a little bit so it's just behind those front faces. And we'll just maybe close this up quickly. So let's scale it again. All right, I think we'll just pretty much leave the back blank. So let's maybe just size these loops to the front loops here. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down to maybe about there. Okay, and we'll just make a little extrusion on the back here maybe. All right, so let's pull that out a little bit more and shift drag it closed. Okay, and same thing here, control click vertex and weld that up. Okay, so really simple for this rim. We do need to support it, so let's add some edge loops here. And we'll just start down here at the front. Okay, so let's grab an edge there, ring it, and connect it up with one segment. And we'll do something like 75 or so, and okay. And we'll just keep working up to the middle section here, just adding pairs of loops. Okay, so ring these edges here, connect two segments, no slide, and just pinch those out a bit. Okay, same thing in the middle here. Probably tighten these ones up a little bit more. All right, we'll do the same thing here. Let's just grab these two, do ring and a connect. And we'll do about 90 on those ones, and okay, and same thing here again. That's probably fine. Okay, we'll do two segments on the middle section as well. Let's do maybe about 87, and for the front here, we'll just grab that center vert again, control click edge, and just add one segment here with a connect. Okay, we'll just slide that towards the outside to sharpen it up. And we'll do the exact same thing on the back. Okay, so let's ring this edge here. Another connect with one segment. And on this one we'll do two, no slide, and just pinch those out. Okay, if you want to, you can be a little bit more careful here and take a little more time to adjust these edges to get the look you want. I'm just going to do it really quick here. Okay, so we'll do something like that. Same thing here again. And finally one more on the back. So let's grab that vert, control click edge, and add one segment. And just slide that towards the outside. Okay, so that's pretty simple, but that should be good enough. Let's put another turbo smooth on, we'll just see how it looks here. Okay, we'll do two iterations again and iceline. Okay, that's really simple, and it might be a little bit too sharp here, but that's okay, we won't really be able to see it on the truck. And like I mentioned, you can change that a little bit more if you want to take a little bit more time. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's just get out of isolation mode here. Okay, we'll just see how this looks. Let's just hit Z here to zoom on it. Okay, and we need to push the lug nuts back a little bit so they're touching up the surface. So let's just grab those. Okay, let's push those in. Alright, so let's move those back on the X until they touch up the surface. Okay, and you can see I went a little bit too small there in the center. Let's just maybe adjust this quickly, and I should have had those visible while I modeled the rim here. Okay, so I'm going to grab the lug nuts as well as the rim, hide everything else. Okay, we'll go back to the left view here, and we just need to make a quick adjustment. Alright, so let's drop back down to the edit poly. Just going to grab the center vert here. Let's actually grab the center vert on both sides, and we'll control click polygon. And we'll just grow this a few times here. Okay, and the same thing on the back. Let's delete these out for a second. Back to border, grab the two borders. And we're just going to scale this up a little bit more so it's a little bit bigger and we can fit our bolts on there. Okay, let's do something maybe like that. And we'll just quickly remodel this detail here. So let's do the back first. Just extrude out the border again and close it up. Okay, weld that all into one point. Set our support edges really quick. Okay, and same thing here on the front. Let's pull this border out and just kind of reshape this really quick. Okay, so I'm going to bring that out till it's pretty much touching up with the bolts here. Let's look in the side view. And we'll scale it back down and close it up the way we had it. Okay, just close up that middle section there and just add the support edges again. Okay, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, everything seems to be fitting fine. Okay, so now that we have this done, let's just unhide all. And we'll just select all the pieces of these two tires here. Okay, it's getting a little laggy on me here, but we're almost there. So let's just grab these pieces. Okay, so make sure you get the both rims, both tires, as well as all those lug nuts in the middle, as well as that front brake rotor. Okay, right here, and we'll just maybe group this quickly. Let's call it tire 2, and we'll just make a copy over onto the other side. Okay, it looks like we accidentally selected that piece there, so I'm just going to group this for a sec. Deselect that and regroup the tires. Okay, and we'll do the same process here, center the pivot point, then center on the x-axis, and just copy it over using mirror. Okay, well, let's check this out. That looks fine. So let's go back into the left view here, and we'll just add a quick axle between the tires. Alright, so let's zoom in on the front. And we'll just grab maybe a cylinder here in the crate panel. And we'll just draw the cylinder out in the center of the front rim. Okay, let's do something like that. Give it a little height here. Go into the top view. And we'll just push this over to the left side here. So it's touching up with the back of the rim. Okay, so just push it over. We can adjust it in a minute. Let's maybe increase the height here a bit. Okay, we'll also get rid of the height settings, we don't need those, and we'll increase the sides to say maybe 30 so it's a little bit more smooth. Okay, I'll put this in the middle. And we'll just go underneath the truck here and adjust the length. Okay, we're just going to leave it going right through this section. You could cut that out if you wanted to, but I'm not going to bother doing that for the tutorial. Alright, so we'll just convert this to editable poly. And let's go into vertex. Just going to grab the end verts there. Okay, and we'll just push that in so it's touching up with the back of the rotor here. Okay, so let's push it into the surface. We'll do the same thing on the other end. Grab those verts there, and just make sure that's touching up with the back of the rotor as well. Okay, and we could also throw that blue shader on there while we're at it. Okay, so really simple axle, and let's maybe just get rid of the end caps quickly. We don't really need to have those in there. So I'm just going to grab the polygons on the body of it. We'll do Control I to select both caps and delete those out. Okay, and now we can just clone this to the other tires. Okay, so we'll shift drag this back in the left view as a copy, and we'll move it up and just try to center it in the rim here. Okay, just like that. And we'll check it out underneath. And let's maybe add a little extra detail here to the back. Let's maybe grab this rim again. Okay, and we'll just go up and ungroup this for a second. Okay, let's grab this one. Go into the left view. And I'm just wondering if we could cut a hole through this so the axle can pass through the other tire. Let's maybe do that quick. Let's control click the axle, hide unselect it for a second. Go into the left view. And let's disable the turbo smooth here on the rim. And we'll go back down to maybe polygon here. And we'll just select the center polygons. Okay, so all the center polygons on the front and back. And we'll just maybe do an inset on this quickly. And we'll take this up until it's almost the same dimension as the axle there. Okay, I'll leave it a little bit bigger so we have a small gap. Okay, hit OK to that, and we'll hit bridge. Okay, and that'll cut that hole right through for us. And we'll just need to support it quickly, so let's get a polygon there. We'll hide unselect it one more time, and we'll just add a couple of extra support edges to the center. Okay, so another ring on those edges, and connect it up with 2 segments. And one more support edge on the front and back. Okay, so let's do 1 segment here, and we'll slide that towards the center again. And the exact same thing over here. Okay, and do that in the same position. Alright, so we'll turn that off, turn back on turbo smooth, then just see how that looks. Okay, that looks a little better. So let's unhide all. Okay, and we'll just grab the pair of wheels on the other side of the truck there, and we'll delete those out. We're going to need to re-clone them. All right. Okay, so let's grab these pieces again. All the pieces of the back 2 tires. We'll deselect the axle. We don't need to clone that. And we'll just do another group on these. Call it tire 2 again. And we'll just recopy it over. Okay, so back in the top view, center the pivot. And flip it over. So copy on the X. And we'll finally just make the copy to the second set of tires here. So let's grab both these groups, as well as the axle. And we'll just shift drag these over in the left view. Alright, so just hold down shift and just drag that back. Okay, and we'll try to line it up with the blueprint as best we can. Something like that should be good. Choose copy and OK. And let's just get rid of these blueprints. It's really slowing down the capture here, and I hope it's not too choppy while you're watching this. Okay, so let's hit hide selected objects, or frozen objects. Okay, so I think we're finally done with this model. Let's just check it out and make sure everything's okay. So let's make sure all the pieces are actually copied over to this side. I don't believe we missed anything. Okay, and just make sure those tires are all lined up the same way. Okay, and we'll just look for any intersecting pieces here. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, so there we have it. That's the final model, and I know it took absolutely forever to get through. Hopefully some of you are still with me on this. And I think that'll pretty much conclude the modeling section. I hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.